So what used to be really extreme is increasingly becoming more normal. And what used to be normal is actually now becoming cold. Just to comment on the number of days above 30 degrees in the UK, it's worth remembering that in the 20th century, 1 in 5 years, we didn't reach 30 degrees anywhere in the UK all year. That might be seem quite surprising now, but that is what the observations tell us. So the observations from weather stations around the UK are really telling us that the climate of the 20th century has now gone. So we have long-term records for the UK that extend all the way back to Victorian times. When we look at the observations for the year just gone and for the most recent decade, what we can see is our climate is substantially different to how the climate was through much of the 20th century. Let's not forget that much of our infrastructure, much of our housing stock, our agriculture, our health systems and so on, are based on a climate of the 20th century. This is in terms of temperature, a climate that we no longer have. Our climate is different now. So obviously that means that when we see these extremes of weather, very high temperatures, as we are seeing again in 2026, it causes a lot of strain, because at the time these, all these things were put into place, the observations looked different, the climate was different. It's very clear from what is presented in the report that climate change is something that is upon us right now. The changes are, really dramatic, and we really can see that in the extremes and some of these metrics in the report. So I think, for many people, climate change has perhaps previously seemed something that's talked about scientists, but they maybe don't necessarily expect to see the impacts so much in their day-to-day lives. I think that is very much increasingly, people are experiencing climate change. And I think, this is because the way we experience this is through these extremes.